What a fucking
Racist. I love her, but she's in a relationship with that type of person.
This is not an accident. This is you can hear in his voice. He uses that word. He used that word regularly, I would assume.
I'm sick of this child getting more and more money off violence are blue. Saint Valentine was an anti-Semite, and I guess PewDiePie is too.
If it's okay to hit one person, then it's okay to hit every person, right? That's the logic. So it's okay to punch a baby.
Girl, he's racist. You better take all the money and better leave him. Leave his racist. T-minus 5 hours for Marzia cakes for him and claims to be I love Marzia. Hopefully she feels the burn of this as well. Oh, there is a lot to go through. As I'm sure you already know, the catastrophically offensive N-word hard R regrettably slipped out of PewDiePie during a heated moment while live streaming PUBG. And let me just add that he did not cue in his mic to say it to the anonymous enemy, okay? People keep reporting that incorrectly, acting as if he said it directly to the person. That is not what happened. Okay, the reaction to this went so far, and I figured it would at first, but I didn't expect to see so many other YouTubers, including some I somewhat respect, going as far as saying that they're sure, completely sure, that PewDiePie uses the word nigger in his everyday life, and that he sounds comfortable using it without even being around him at all, without even being his friend. Am I the only one that thinks that's just a bit too far to make such awful assumptions about people over such a simple slip of the tongue? After making videos for 7 years, hundreds of hours of content uploaded and streamed, he slipped up with the hard R one time and immediately regretted it and apologized during the live stream. Personally, I think a reasonable response would be to laugh at his fuck up, accept his immediate apology, and move on. Not blow it out of proportion, not make him out to be a racist, not align him with a controversial political party, not use the opportunity in an attempt to destroy his channel through business connections and DMCAs, all based on false preconceived notions harbored since at least February, and to not attack his longtime girlfriend on all of her platforms for days, questioning whether she's racist too, because she's doing what any good friend or significant other would do, dealing with him in private, instead of being a shit so-called friend going on the BBC to tell them how you're pretty sure he says regularly while representing yourself as his friend when it seems like you're casual friends at best. I think I'll trust the close friend of 6 years that is actually around him is an actual friend of his, vouching for him, saying that he's never heard PewDiePie say or nigga around him ever. They even shared a podcast together, and he streams PUBG with him sometimes too. Apparently everyone is perfect all the time, and no one ever lets any words or something shitty slip out of their mouths when angry, and everyone has a perfect filter, so therefore he must just be secretly racist. That is the only option. He's worse than a closeted racist. So let's talk about all that crap and more. As always, if you'd prefer to skip through the video, timestamps are in the description, but shout out to all the people that watch the videos until the end. I love you.
They're coming over. No, it's a boat. No, it's 2 cars.
God fucking damn this fucking gun.
Are you down?
Yeah.
I see him. I see him. Fuck, I gotta heal.
One behind the orange car.
What? What the fuck is happening?
What the hell was that? The potato was fucking insane. I was holding it so fucking straight.
What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god. What the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck? What a fucking asshole. I don't mean that in a bad way. Jesus fuck.
Okay, if you don't play this game, only Brad can hear him, not the enemy. So the person that he's yelling the racial slur about, he can't hear him. Just his duo can.
I fucking tried to shoot. I shot him 3 times. He fucking went out of his way.
Is that Polygon right still in chat?
God fucking damn it. Racist PewDiePie confirmed.
That
No.
word comes up so easily for you when you're angry because it's in your vocabulary. You use it. It's not somewhere way in the back. It's readily accessible. And look, that PewDiePie person is really racist. He's been called out before for anti-Semitism and using Nazi memes in his videos, and now this? And I'm sure it's just a coincidence that he looks like a member of the Hitler Youth.
Clearly, he said this all the time. You know what I mean?
That word shouldn't have came out of your mouth unless you say that on the daily, which you do.
So the fact that this is something that is just a go-to for him in his head, but he is facing some backlash from video game companies,
which I think is great.
So some companies are looking to take down some of the videos that he's live streamed playing their games. So I'm happy to see the world not let it slide this time.
People that slip and say the N-word, there is no slippage. In order to blurt out something of a slur as far as and as deep as the N-word, that has to be something that you use on a regular basis or quite frequently, or experienced a lot in your past as far as said it a lot in your past.
There's just too much to gather as examples for all these, and it's going to clog up the video, so I'm just going to try to repeat the stuff I've been seeing really quickly, or as fast as I can. Lots of tall poppy syndrome, massive hypocrites, tons of people saying he must say the N-word hard R all the time. Streamers saying that because they have never slipped up, that no one else can because it doesn't happen. Just because they're perfect, everyone else must be too, despite the hundreds of stream fail compilations. Way too many people with followings saying that they play games and they don't ever rage or say awful things out of anger, so there's no way it was in the heat of the moment. Heat of the moment apparently doesn't exist just because they've never experienced it. People are constantly using his income as some sort of irrelevant point. Oh wait, I forgot. There's some sort of income threshold where we cease being seen as human, because that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Lots of YouTubers and streamers circle jerking to how good of a person they think they are for pointing out the obvious, that racism is bad and that what he did was wrong. There were some backstabbing friends that should have just gone to him in private like most decent friends. And holy shit, the amount of people and YouTubers and people with large followings saying, oh my god, he needs to know that's bad. I wish he knew that it's bad. How does he not know? Like, what the hell are you saying? Do you seriously think he doesn't already know and he didn't decide to put it in a video? It was a slip up on a live stream. People act like it was some thoroughly thought out decision. It was very clear what happened, but people want to write their own narratives about him. The mainstream media seems to be convinced that PewDiePie is racist, and it seems like none of the consumers try looking into things first. It's just completely fine now to stick whatever awful label on someone. Even after he apologized, most of the YouTubers and people that I'm talking about stood by what they said, and they do not care because they know what's in his heart better than he does. It's more fun to think he's racist, right? Let's just forget about every single good thing he's ever done over the years. Earning over $1 million for charity? Pfft. He's a terrible person. He has to be racist because he said a word. Some shitty YouTubers are using this as an opportunity to virtue signal and say they love their subscribers so much more because they choose not to say the word, unlike PewDiePie. Again, as if he knowingly put it into a video, as if he thought long and hard and was like, yeah, I'm deciding to use this language in my content. It's ironic that most of the outrage in these responses say way more about their character than his. And this hasn't just been about a simple slip-up. People are attacking his entire character. Even Marzia was harassed.
This man is a racist because he said the word with an ER at the end. This world is absolutely ridiculous.
Such a great fucking word.
Let me begin by making it very clear that I do not condone purposely using this word. I don't think anyone should be using it regularly, even if you're black. I think the whole black people can use it, they've reclaimed it, is really dumb and confusing for a lot of people that grow up with it being in music and the slang version being said by everyone around them. Every area that I've lived in throughout my life has been very mixed, and I only knew of one racist person, and I'm sure there were more, it just wasn't very prevalent in the area that I lived in. And everyone of every race said nigga. Even I used to say nigga all the time years ago. When it comes to the slang version, I think that one is pretty long gone. Too many people use it in harmless ways. And you should obviously never use either version in a derogatory way. If you use the N-word hard R with your friends in private in a non-racist way, I'd recommend to stop using it over time. And words aren't just words. You can decide how they affect you, but people will judge your character based on what you say. I choose to not let dumb words affect me, and by dumb words I mean words that are meant to hurt or discredit you based on something silly like appearance, race, sexuality, stuff like that. And there are words that refer to my gender, ethnicity, and sexuality that I apparently should be offended by, and a lot of people act like these words are still catastrophically offensive. But I just don't care. Using specifically the N-word creates such a massive uproar where everything gets lost in translation. Every white person jumps out of the bush, eager to tell you that, hey, racism is wrong. Murder is wrong. Thank you. I know, I'm such a good person. I'm a hero, a do-gooder, a destroyer of evil. So I just not use it at all if I were you. It's not worth the headache. One thing I do want to mention is if you purposely try to use the N-word to be edgy or to dull the word. I get that you probably aren't racist, but you are so cringy. Please stop. And to the people that are very offended by the word, I get it, but someone who isn't racist, slipping up on a live stream isn't the same as someone in your everyday life being legit racist to you and purposely using that word in a derogatory way. I'm sorry, but it's just not the same. Oh, and while I'm at it, I might as well get ahead of the comments and mention that I do not support white supremacy, and I don't support racism. I'm anti-bad shit. There we go. That sums it up. This is super obvious to most people, but there are still shitty people out there that jump on every opportunity to label someone as something horrible. Apparently you have to denounce everything obviously bad every single day, or else maybe you support it. Hey guys, did you know racism is bad? Please donate to my Patreon. iDubbbz, you're very, very white. You're basically saying all crimes are okay, or none of them are. Oh, by the way, did you know I have a Patreon? It's okay to speed and murder someone? That's what you're saying. Fucking donate to my Patreon. You're pretty much a white supremacist, iDubbbz, and I'm not. Oh, I'm such a good person. I'm a hero. Praise me by donating to my Patreon for only $12. You can send me gifts. Oh. And did you know I save lives? I remind you every day on Twitter, but just in case you didn't notice, I save lives. I tell you, I save lives. And I use it to market myself on Patreon. Humility? What's that?
Okay.
Onision, the sticky scum of YouTube. Out of all people, he is shitting on PewDiePie for fucking up while trying to appear above him. The man that has unapologetically done so many awful things to people publicly and has purposely said some awful hurtful things to others, even over something as tiny as someone getting breast implants. He is a great example of who not to be. During this shitstorm, he jumped on the opportunity to make himself look good, and thank God enough people saw through it. He made 3 videos about it, plugging his Patreon as usual, of course, and tweeted out many things, including that PewDiePie is racist. We all have our opinions about this word, but I would say that all of the bad shit that you have done to people far outweigh the use of the N-word.
It
like
certainly
bunny? I'm
seems
a
like
Swedish
that's
bunny.
not
Don't
the
shoot
first time
me.
he's used that word in that context.
Hillary Clinton.
He really
I go
kinda
like
just
a
was
bunny.
really comfortable using that word.
God damn, he really kind of just was really comfortable shitting on PewDiePie like that. That really just kind of, he was like, oh, let me just like a little hypocrisy for you. Previously on Fighting Over a Single Word.
What do you guys do together?
Yeah, what? Not gay stuff.
What are you gay?
Nothing gay.
What
no.
are you gay, Hila? Fuck you, nigger faggot.
Yeah.
I love that I can
Gay-ass
just.
Hila?
I love that I can just say nigger faggot though.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't
Alright.
really say that.
Do you
But
feel like
empowered?
I feel
A
like
little.
you're using it a little liberally.
I love saying nigger faggot. It's so wonderful. So
now
when
you're gonna get shit for it?
He was being a bit hypocritical, and I'm just surprised he'd go as far as others and say it seems like PewDiePie has just been using that word in that context outside of this one moment. How can you be so comfortable assuming that just because PewDiePie slipped up one time after 7 years of daily content, he must say in his everyday life? He must. You can hear it in his voice. I am sure that's just so dumb. There's nothing supporting that assumption other than this one slip up. You need a lot more than that to assume something so awful. And I personally hate seeing when friends on this site make commentary videos, or in this case, a podcast about another friend while criticizing them. Comment on other people, not your friends. Talk to them in private if you absolutely feel the need to. But even if it's a hot topic, it's still your friend. You don't need to add to it unless it's to add something helpful like Ken's video. People have been calling out Destiny for criticizing PewDiePie when he has said so much racist shit in the past. One time he even went as far as responding to a black person with a burning cross. But I didn't see much of him criticizing PewDiePie specifically. It was more of him just being his typical "I have to argue with everyone" self. But the best part was when he was called out by a black female for being a hypocrite. He responded with this: "Nice, I've got the Uncle Toms showing up now too." Oh. Which is a racist slur used against black people. So while he was tweeting all this stuff out, it appeared like he was being racist himself. Unknowingly though, because apparently he didn't know that this was a racist slur. I know his past and all of this looks like he's possibly racist, but he's not. It's just kind of funny that he's even trying to be part of this conversation with a past like that. And I just want to quickly mention that it's kind of sad that Destiny is always written off like just some unreasonable SJW, and this reaction probably makes his case even worse. And he is kind of scary on Twitter. But even though I disagree with him a lot and a lot of what he says in his debates, I'd still recommend checking them out because some of them are entertaining and interesting. So Sky went on a BBC interview to talk about the controversy.
So I want to just double back for 2 seconds.
Sure.
Won't take long at all. Earlier we said that people are saying this is an accident. This is not an accident. This is you can hear in his voice. He uses that word regularly, I would assume.
I love how he just has to add it, like they were moving on, but he had to get that in there. It was completely unnecessary. Oh, but Sylvie, he added a compliment afterwards. That doesn't take away from what he said. Again, how the hell is everyone completely fine with assuming this shit without being around him daily? Like, sure, you can think about it, but why go on an interview with the BBC where they'll take your word on it because you even said this?
And hopefully, me being his friend, maybe I can talk to him and try to get him to understand. But in terms of...
If I considered myself his friend, I would go to him personally, not go on an interview with the BBC saying that shit, then make a video afterwards saying...
I want to touch on really briefly is like, Felix just says it, like it's a part of his soul. Like you can listen to the clip over and over, and it's like he's speaking in cursive. All the words are linked together like he's Aang and he's the bender. I don't want to excommunicate him from my fucking life. I would love to sit and just talk with him and just help him understand why this is what it is. I feel like I could make a difference. I feel like if I talk to him, I can make a difference. And I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that before anything else.
Oh man, I'm sure you'll tell him all kinds of things he's never heard yet. It's not as if he's already had the broken glass grinded into his hands last time he made a mistake. What a great friend. This type of stuff just puts me off from wanting to form friendships with people on this site. How to be a decent friend is just too subjective to people on here. Don't make videos or podcasts about your friends, putting them in a negative light. I personally think that saying what he said to the BBC made PewDiePie look so bad, and representing PewDiePie as his friend makes it seem like he knows what he's talking about when he clearly doesn't. So now some people might be thinking PewDiePie must use it regularly because even his personal friend agrees. A few people who I know for a fact are close friends of PewDiePie's are Brad Wodo, Marzia, who's also his girlfriend, and Kick the PJ. Do you see them jumping on interviews telling people how they're friends with PewDiePie and that this was definitely not an accident? No, you don't, because they're actual friends. If they absolutely must tell him how they feel, they most likely go to him in private. Friendship 101. There are a handful of YouTubers that I would stick my neck out for in defense of something like this. After all these years of following Felix, I am 100% sure that he is not racist. There is no deeper disturbing problem going on, and he was just being an idiot with a horrible filter. Unless he's a mastermind that whispers the N-word in private and has secretly hidden his racism from everyone, including his black friends and his friend of over 6 years.
I know Felix is not racist. If me and Felix have been friends for 6 years now, and aside from Marzia, I have been in more PewDiePie videos than like anybody else in existence, and he has never, not even one time, said that word to me. Not even like without the ER. Said it to me personally? No.
Oh, look, an actual longtime friend of his, saying that PewDiePie has never said the N-word in front of him, not even in private. If you don't know, these two have collabed so many times. They even had a podcast together, and sometimes they play PUBG on stream together. Call me crazy, but I think it's better to trust Ken's judgment than someone who's probably more of a casual friend than anything. If he uses the N-word hard R on a regular basis, I am surprised it took him this long to say it on a live stream during the many moments where he's gotten upset. He's been making videos for like 7 years now, hundreds of hours of content, and now he streams PUBG a lot while still making videos. If he were racist and uses the N-word casually or in that specific context, as Ethan says, why did he just now slip up? Saying it one time during his many heated moments where he's really focused on the game isn't enough for me to even speculate on whether or not he uses this on a regular basis. And I don't think it's right to do so, especially as his friend. The fuck? I know people will assume I dislike him after this. I don't. He's been one of my favorite YouTubers for years, ever since I found him in the early league days, and I recommend checking him out. Friendly reminder that people are multifaceted. This was just one thing he did. I doubt he's an overall bad friend to people. I love you, Sky. Please don't hate me. Goodbye, possible YouTube career. It was fun while it lasted.
The smug is getting so massive that it's moving west and fusing with the San Francisco smug. Here, these two smug clouds are combining, fueling each other.
Campo Santo is an indie game studio based in San Francisco, the Bay Area, the land of anti-differing opinions, virtue signaling, smug, overreacting assholes, the area where I'm from. I swear, even though you see crazy shit coming out of the Bay all the time, we aren't all like that. Anyway, Campo Santo created Firewatch, a very short game, created almost 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago. And during all this drama, they attempted to distance themselves from the Nazi PewDiePie. They decided to announce that they're going to abuse DMCA to take down his Let's Play. The Let's Play that he recorded 2 years ago. Then during an interview with BuzzFeed, Sean said, "I wish there was a clear way to say we don't want our work associated with hate speech, even accidental hate speech, if that's what it was." Bitch, please! Your irrelevant ass was on no one's mind when watching that clip. It's not as if a fan of your game was like, "Oh my god, I specifically remember 2 years ago he played that one indie game I love. What was the name? Oh yeah, Firewatch. I bet Firewatch condones every single thing PewDiePie does and says. Firewatch must be racist too." You shouldn't have to denounce anything that someone else does. Guilt by association is complete shit. Stop supporting it. If anything, since he was playing PUBG, they're the only ones where it would make sense if they decided to say that they don't like what he did, but abusing DMCA would just be dumb no matter what he said. It is very unlikely that any of your favorite YouTubers or game developers are racist against black people. It goes without saying, stop being dumb. Everyone has been debating whether or not it's okay or illegal to DMCA him over a Let's Play, but he wasn't just playing the game. I sat through all of it after Sean's tweets blew up. Throughout the Let's Play, even right off the bat, he reviews it. He raved about how great it was and criticized it, especially at the end. Some well-known YouTubers are saying Campo Santo is completely in the right because PewDiePie isn't reviewing and criticizing it, but I believe he did. Plus, they say on their official site that you're allowed to make Let's Plays and content off of it. You can't just revoke that just because one of the creators turned out to be someone you don't like 2 years down the line. Campo Santo makes it seem like they have some sort of ties with PewDiePie. Unless they deleted past tweets, I haven't found anything to show that they were working with PewDiePie on any level. He just played their game one time almost 2 years ago, resulting in a fat paycheck for them. He gave them free advertising to millions of people. That's as far as their relationship went. It's odd that this one incident resulted in such a massive overreaction on Campo Santos's part. It's almost as if Sean has had a shit opinion of PewDiePie for a long time now. Oh, look, he tweeted this out in February of this year. "Roses are red, violets are blue. Saint Valentine was an anti-Semite, and I guess PewDiePie is too." So since at least February, it looks like Sean Sean has had a really shit view of PewDiePie, probably because of the mainstream media slandering him. Well, if PewDiePie is an anti-Semite, you, Sean, who's such a good person, fights against hate. Let's play that same judgmental game with you. Sean, I'm sure you're not an awful person, but since you wrote PewDiePie off that way for no good reason, let's see what your tweets say about you. I'm sick of this child getting more and more money off of what we make. Using child in a condescending way, and PewDiePie, one of the most well-known content creators on YouTube that has given countless games free advertising, including many really small indie games that no one would have known of if he didn't play. You're arguing that he makes money off of you. I have no words. How can you be that dense? This tweet implies that you are ungrateful, an asshole, and stupid. I'm sorry to say, I'm still surprised you tweeted this out. Oh, but it gets better. He's worse than a closeted racist. He's a propagator of despicable garbage that does real damage to the culture around this industry. Really, Sean? He's worse than a closeted racist? Not only is he secretly racist, he's worse than that. These personal attacks are so fucking cutthroat. You'd think PewDiePie burned your cat alive or something. Holy shit. I'd urge other developers, and we'll be reaching out to folks much larger than us, to cut him off from the content that has made him a millionaire. So not only are you trying to take him down, you're using your business connections to support you. Hardly anyone would know about your game if it wasn't for YouTubers. That is so bluntly obvious, you would have to be a complete idiot to not recognize that. Furthermore, we're complicit. I'm sure we've made money off of the 5.7 million views that video has, and that's something for us to think about. Oh wait, now you realize how dumb you're being. There's no saving your ass now. So Sean, you have scored much higher on the "this person is a shit human" scale than PewDiePie did. Just these tweets say way more about your character than PewDiePie's hilarious offensive humor and slip up on a live stream. Instead of just voicing your opinion, which I would respect, you took it as far as abusing DMCA and urging others to follow so PewDiePie's channel would be in trouble. Congratulations! You earned people not promoting any of your future games for free because no one wants to deal with your dramatic ass. And as a bonus prize, you win tons of idiots purposely giving your game bad reviews just because you're an asshole. Really though, don't go giving the game you probably enjoyed a bad review just because of this situation. That is so dumb. Side rant, I hate when people go for the wallet when someone expresses their opinion and someone disagrees with them and then they contact their employer or sponsor like a 7-year-old telling another kid's parents, "Your son hate my feelings, punish him." Like, how much more pathetic can you get? Can we just leave arguments online and not silence people by threatening their livelihood or deplatforming? But anyway, that doesn't apply to Sean. He didn't just voice his opinion, he struck first. He involved his indie game studio and all of his future games in this based on personal bias, and I too will choose to not publicly support their games. I mean, I think that's kind of smart since if he ever watches this, he'll probably hate me. But if they make more quality games, I'll still play it on my free time without promoting it since I don't want good indie games to die out just because of how awful their creators can be. Don't blame the game, and leaving them a biased, awful review makes you no better than him, so stop. This is really obvious, but the games industry doesn't solely exist for game devs. People make art out of their games, content, cosplays, all kinds of stuff. The industry starts with the game, but more jobs are created around it. It's something that should be celebrated. Knowing that your game is helping others, allowing them to build a life for themselves and sometimes for their family. Not that Firewatch did any of that because it's a tiny ass indie game and it's not like it's League of Legends with dedicated content creators that live off of the game. Basically, content creators and game developers mooch off of each other, they promote each other, nobody loses. If this guy feels the need to take down someone that he deems terrible just to show he doesn't support everything PewDiePie does and says, by that logic, I would have to unfollow and unsub from like all the people that I follow and am subscribed to. Because right now I can't think of one person that I share every single opinion with and have in common the exact level of frustration on everything. There are people I follow and watch that I disagree with mostly everything they say, to some degree. This rhetoric of you must publicly denounce, unfollow, and never listen to anyone you disagree with or else you support everything they say is incredibly asinine. Some of the best advice I could probably ever give someone is to listen to all sides, all the time. Sure, it's nice and entertaining to listen to someone that agrees with you on most stuff, but it's so important to follow and really listen to all of the opposing opinions before forming your own. And since we're already on the topic of you're complicit if you don't denounce, let's talk about Marzia. Your boyfriend is a racist, ableist, piece of shit. Why are you dating him? His girlfriend Marzia should say something about it too, or she's complicit. She's an apologist for not saying anything. She must be racist too. Marzia, you have to dump him and take all of the animals with you. Is it okay to still support Marzia? T-minus 24 hours before Marzia capes for him and claims he isn't racist. Hopefully she feels the burn of this as well. She stayed defending him. Hey, people that were associated with PewDiePie, please be honest. Did you know that he was racist? Marzia better come out and denounce it, or she must be racist too. What about Marzia? I love her, but if she's in a relationship with that type of person... Obviously, Marzia has nothing to do with this situation, neither do any of his friends. It's solely on PewDiePie for what happened, but we see this sort of thing happen all the time when someone does something that the public deems as wrong. The people close to them are accused of supporting whatever happened. If they don't speak out, Marzia doesn't even have to say a word. People will always fill in the blanks without asking her first. This should be obvious and should go without saying, but Marzia is her own person. She's not PewDiePie, and she isn't an extension of him. She already has to forever live in his shadow. She's usually known as PewDiePie's girlfriend, not just Marzia, even when achieving something completely on her own. When her book that she always dreamt of writing came out, she was very proud of it, but they marketed it as PewDiePie's girlfriend wrote a book, which makes sense for sales, but it sucks that she doesn't get full credit. Like, no matter what she does, people will always mention him. So not only does she have to live with that, but she also gets torn down with him. If he's racist, she must be too. And I can't stand it when I see people doing this where they demand someone leave someone based on something that's usually tiny on the grand scale of things. This has happened to me before. I can't stand it. It's like one little bad thing happens and they demonize him forever without even knowing him at all. And it feels like a personal attack, like as if Marzia has terrible judgment and she's not able to think for herself. And I don't understand how people feel the need to comment these things. I rarely ever leave comments. Like, I've probably only commented like 15 comments over the past 10 years or so on YouTube. So I still don't get the mentality of feeling the need to tell someone that like their hair is ugly or their boyfriend might be racist. They need to leave them. Like the type of stuff that you should just never say. Like, sure, you can think it, but why say it? I think the people shitting on Marzia is probably the most upsetting part of this situation for me, and it's sad that she can't say anything. She knows it's best to let it die down, and even PewDiePie probably can't say anything to help her. It would be best for him to not mention this situation ever again. Imagine your significant other being attacked because of something you accidentally did, and you can't protect them or fight against it. It just sucks. Oh my god, PewDiePie said a word! I have to leave. I have to report on it. Reporters everywhere had to drop their babies, leave their dates that they had tried so hard to get for weeks. You finally convinced her to try anal. But no, drop everything, because PewDiePie is a Nazi. He said a bad word. He's purporting racism and Nazism to the children. Think of the children. He's infecting them. What is journalism now? Really though, what the hell happened? Let's read some of these responses. PewDiePie may or may not be a racist. However, so far the evidence certainly points us to believe the former is true. What does it say about us, the public, that PewDiePie's popularity is only growing despite his continued use of outright racist language? PewDiePie is a controversial web figure given his history of bigoted stunts and remarks, which he and his followers defend as comedy, because it is. PewDiePie represents all that is wrong and alienating about games culture. The highest paid YouTuber of 2016, he now has an estimated net worth of about 20 million. Okay, come on, why do people always have to bring up his income? It isn't even relevant. It's like if you reach a certain point of success, tall poppy syndrome takes over people around you and you're like no longer treated like a human. So shitty. If a major games publisher such as Microsoft Studios, which publishes PUBG, or Activision pressured Google to pull their content from PewDiePie's YouTube channel, it'd be a remarkable blow to his 15 million per year business. But even a broader coalition of much smaller video game studios might work to disrupt PewDiePie's livelihood with a wave of content takedowns. Okay, it sounds like you really want his channel to just be taken down. For a fucking word and some jokes. Among his followers and fans are politically influential far-right trolls. Here was a YouTuber with 57 million subscribers, largely consisting of kids and teens, using a racial slur very casually. Far-right trolls aspire to weaponize him by influencing his content and using it as a gateway to introduce unsuspecting, not yet politicized young audiences to the far-right narratives of the culture war. Oh my god, can we stop associating him with people that just follow him? Like you all love to say, he has so many subscribers. I'm sure he has the same values as every single one of his subscribers. It's not a secret that there are many kids that watch his content. PewDiePie's far-reaching influence makes it important that he acts responsibly and avoids situations like these. I'm sure he knows the consequences, and I'm sure he knows to avoid situations like these. I don't understand why everyone's just saying it non-stop as if he doesn't fucking know. So many condescending people. You may find yourself balking at the idea that a YouTuber gets to shape culture, but that's how reinforcement of ideas happen, especially when you cater to an audience that large, undoubtedly comprised of young people. If anything, he is a great example of how to deal with fuck-ups. He did a great apology video. It shows that even YouTubers are not perfect, and he showed how to deal with those situations. How to apologize is a very great lesson. I don't have time for people like this in my life, and neither should you. Those within our community should take a stand against racism, and much like the developers of Firewatch, we should stop giving individuals like PewDiePie the opportunity to have such a large influence in the industry. Damn! This is from the comment section of this article. I can't believe people watch this spewing idiot of a human, let alone YouTube still allows him to post videos. Like, holy shit, why go this far with it? And those are just a few comments from a few of the articles. There are so many fucking articles. I'll put some of them on the screen while I'm talking, but damn, people are really trying to take him down. And I'm surprised how many people support the DMCA stuff from the Firewatch guy. Like, shit, like you have to like sit back and think about this for a second and just remember that this was just a word that slipped out of his mouth and he apologized. He made it a thorough apology and people are still going at it and calling for like the downfall of PewDiePie. It's crazy. I can already tell that this video is going to be so fucking long at this point, so I can't talk too much about this stuff, but I'll put a lot of it on the screen for you to see, or you can just Google it yourself, but there are so many fucking articles about this shit, and they keep bringing up kids. One of the main points for the mainstream media and a lot of people in the YouTube community is that PewDiePie entertains mostly children. PewDiePie doesn't show in his description that his content is for children. To say that PewDiePie needs to wake up and think of how children watch him is like saying Game of Thrones needs to wake up and realize that kids have access to TV and they're probably watching. Content creators that don't establish that they're a completely kid-friendly channel shouldn't be held accountable when a kid clicks onto their channel. That's on the parents. It sucks, I'm sure. I'm guessing it's getting harder and harder for parents to monitor their kids online, but you can't blame him for your lack of monitoring. If you don't want your kid to watch anything slightly controversial ever, don't let your kid online or outside or anywhere. Keep them in a room. And of course, people with large platforms should keep in mind that things they say are heard by impressionable idiots of all ages that sometimes think it's okay to say certain words or be a certain way in everyday life, but they shouldn't be blamed for possible idiots or kids taking their jokes seriously and repeating them in the wrong context. But they can do their best to never say certain things, which PewDiePie failed at one time during a live stream during a heated moment, and he thoroughly apologized. And not many people would have seen him say that word if everyone didn't blow it up. I love PUBG. I watch his PUBG streams. He's one of the few PUBG streamers that my fiance and I watch. Between the two of us, we've watched hours of his PUBG streams, and we've probably been there for most, if not all, of his streams. He usually has between like 18 to 24,000 viewers while live streaming. He doesn't upload his streams after finishing. They only exist live or when re-uploaded by others. When he uploads a planned out, edited video, he gets anywhere from 2.5 million to above 5 million views. As you know, he has over 57 million subscribers, and people love this number. They love to say, he has 57 million subscribers and they're mostly kids. He's brainwashing and promoting racism to 57 million kids. Like, they make it out to be like he actually entertains 57 individual people, as if he literally has 57 million individual subscribers that watch his content, and 18,000 to 24,000 live viewers compared to 15 million. It's a bit of a difference. And while I personally think he has a wide age range of viewers, I have no idea what his age ratios are for his channel, or more importantly, his streams. My fiance and I are adults and we love his live streams. I know other adults that love him as well, but I don't know. I just think it's unfair to say his streams are filled with children. When we think of children, we picture this. I mean, come on, no one even mentions that many of them are probably like 16 to 17-year-olds. Oh, wait. That's right. You're still grouped with toddlers at that age. You can't think for yourself until you're 18. Totally forgot. I mean, you might as well just be drooling on yourself right now if you're 17 because you're not a respectable wizard like the people just a little bit older than you. You filthy dumb kiddos. Oh, and my personal favorite one. You're 21. Your brain hasn't developed. It develops at 25. I'm 33. My brain has developed, therefore I know best. You're probably not thinking clearly. If your go-to argument is, my brain has developed and yours hasn't, so you probably aren't thinking clearly, you might be stupid, but I digress.
Well, while Players Unknown Battleground was streaming...
Notice how she said while Player Unknown Battlegrounds was streaming? It's because they somehow think he's just watching a game, not playing it. And later on, Stern says something like, how is it heat of the moment? He's watching a game. So it seems like he somehow thinks PewDiePie is just sitting there watching a stream instead of playing.
Disney cut ties after PewDiePie posted videos that included anti-Semitic messages and Nazi images. He later posted a Tumblr message saying he does not support any hateful attitudes. Here is a posted response to the backlash.
How could a guy go on and say, I'm really not racist after using the N-word and posting anti-Semitic?
And I don't agree with any hateful speech, but he said anti-Semitic things and Nazi things.
That's a tough thing to say, I'm not a racist.
She just said in the past, PewDiePie made videos with anti-Semitic messages and Nazi images, and he says Nazi things and anti-Semitic things. This is what happens when journalists don't do their jobs. Here's one of the clips from one of his videos that everyone freaked out about, acting like he's a Nazi or something. It was a joke.
There's a website called Fiverr where you basically can ask anyone for anything for $5. We have the low of the low, the scraping of the bottom, fun and lifestyle. Tell us how to pronounce your given message. Keen star.
I like the editing.
Subscribe to Keemstar.
I'm sorry. I didn't think they would actually do it. I feel partially responsible, but I didn't think they would actually do it. Well, that has been Fiverr. What an experience. Wow.
I'm a Swedish bunny.
I love it. It's hilarious. I love offensive humor. And if you don't, that's fine. We all have different preferences. And don't act like everyone that enjoys it is somehow a Nazi sympathizer. That's crazy. Like, come on. It's just humor. And you know what the sad thing is that no one even talks about? No one even cares that PewDiePie did good things over the years. It's like a couple bad things happen where jokes go wrong and then he accidentally slips with a word that could happen to any of us. And then he's labeled all of these awful things. You'll see tons of articles about that, but no articles about how he's raised over $1 million for charity. Oh no, because it's so much more important to talk about how much money he's probably making per year, or how racist he probably is. Not saying he should be immune to criticism, but to the people attacking his entire character over this, that is insane. People are multifaceted. They fuck up sometimes. And it was a heated moment that was live, not a video that he recorded and decided to upload. It's incredibly hard to be absolutely perfect while live streaming. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of stream fail compilations out there of people fucking up on streams or live on TV. And some of those people that have fucked up on live streams, that have said the N-word multiple times, are now trying to criticize him saying the N-word accidentally. It's unfortunate that the N-word was the word that came out of his mouth, but we can't assume that he uses it on a regular basis. Am I the only one who thinks his apology appears forced? It seems just a bit convenient that it comes only after the Firewatch developers issued a DMCA takedown notice. Instead of issuing an apology shortly after spewing the hateful word, he waited almost 2 whole days. 2 whole days. Are we to believe he is actually sorry for his word? 2 whole days. He can't be sorry. It seems more likely that he is going through the motions following the backlash from his behavior. 2 whole days. It took him 2 days. I mean, that does mean that he's not sorry. He must be racist. He went as far as to issue a public apology on his channel. Despite his apology, it's probably too much to ask that Kjellberg actually learns from his mistake this time and makes meaningful amends, not just through a change in behavior, but also engaging in activism and awareness campaigns, as any good PR professional would surely recommend to him right now.
Unfortunately, PewDiePie's past behaviors makes it seem doubtful that his racially charged controversies are behind him. It could just be a matter of time before he slips up on a live stream yet again. Oh.
And these weren't the only responses. There are tons of people that are sticking by what they said about him being racist, and they don't accept his apology, and they don't have to accept his apology. They know what's in his heart better than he does. Here is a good response video to the apology, and it was nice that they actually waited to respond to all of this after it all happened and waited for the apology instead of jumping on it like everyone else.
That perfect. He hit it right on the head. He made a mistake. He acknowledges that he made a mistake. He takes ownership that he made a mistake, and he's going to try to do better forward. That's all you can do in life.
I think America's current political climate is making everyone acutely aware of everyone's race. They're afraid to say anything to offend others, and they're quick to assume that someone might be racist based on the usage of just a word.
That word comes up so easily for you when you're angry because it's in your vocabulary. You use it. It's not somewhere way in the back. It's readily accessible. And look, that Pewdiepie person is really racist. He's been called out before for anti-Semitism and using Nazi memes in his videos, and now this? And I'm sure it's just a coincidence that he looks like a member of the Hitler Youth.
This clip is a perfect example of someone that has gotten too caught up in the figurative race war. It seems like she sees nothing wrong with pushing the label racist onto people, which dulls the label. Too many situations like this have occurred to the point where if you hear someone is racist, it's likely just an overreaction or a complete lie. And that sucks. Labels like that shouldn't be thrown around so freely. And this could have happened to any of us. I could definitely see myself messing up in some other unintentionally offensive way in a live stream. And for me, it would probably be my subconscious that screws me over. I can't even count the amount of times that I've been in a situation where I'm not supposed to laugh or like smile or say something or do something, and I tell myself to make sure I don't do this or that, but because I told myself not to, somehow my subconscious is like, screw you, we're living on the edge, bitch. And then I say or do the thing I'm not supposed to, simply because I wasn't supposed to. I don't understand it, it sucks, and I hope that if that ever happens to me, people don't throw me under the bus and label me as terrible things. Another common reaction I saw from YouTubers was how they were only concerned for their ad revenue over this, and they blamed PewDiePie for everything. And I get it. It's reasonable to be worried about YouTube as a whole and how this will affect every creator, especially the game commentary section. I'm really worried myself, and seeing everyone around me demonetized is scary, even Jaltoid, which is insane. They just make animations that aren't offensive at all. But even though PewDiePie was involved in all of this, it doesn't mean it's his fault. It's the media's fault, and it always will be. He's a target now, and many believe it has nothing to do with him specifically and everything to do with YouTube as a whole. Some people believe it's to take YouTube down. Who knows? But Apocalypse isn't PewDiePie's fault. It was the Wall Street Journal who seemed to have a vendetta against the platform, or specifically PewDiePie for whatever reason. Direct your anger at news outlets writing misinformed articles on the situation, not PewDiePie. You could say that it's just how the world works when it comes to the backlash he's gotten. You could say it's deserving if he takes a huge loss from this, but I personally want to live in a world where the punishment is equal to the crime. Of course, this is subjective, but in my opinion, in his case, it went way too far. His mistake does not fit the level of shit that he's currently enduring. I know companies freak out and pull out when someone they're slightly associated with does anything wrong, but I hope we can someday change that. Imagine losing your career over something like this. Sure, criticize people all you want, but our society goes way too far with it. I wish it didn't affect our jobs. I personally think the world would be a better, more functional place if we thought consequences through more rationally, and I do think it's good to empathize and consider feelings. And I know there's no way for you to know me personally, so you might not believe me because I'm sure I don't come off this way, but I'm a very sensitive and empathetic person. Trust me, even though it may not seem like it, I do empathize with all of the sides surrounding this topic, and considering everything, I think PewDiePie is the biggest victim in all this. I'm sure I'll get a lot of shit for coming to that conclusion, and it's ironic that most of these people that are flipping their shit regularly preach about putting positivity in the world and only positivity. I'm so positive. So many fake people. I just think people went too far, and even people I respect went way too far with it. Holy shit, people really showed their true colors during all of this. Anyway, guys, smell you later.